I don't know if you've heard the news, but Dewy Skin is out. Dunzo, smell you later, girl, bye. Because this summer, it is all about butter skin. Smooth, plump, deeply hydrated skin, like butter. Now, what exactly are we talking about here? I'm not talking about actually putting butter on your face. No. Butter skin is all about achieving a hydrated, smooth, and subtly glowy complexion that has a more velvety, plush texture to it. It's actually very similar to what I do on my brides because I find that dewy skin tends to break down easier throughout the day and it's much harder to maintain, especially on your wedding day. Butter skin is not about wet glass-like skin. As much as I love that, as much as I'm sure many of you love that, think expensive, luxurious, radiant, velvety, and any other metaphor that you can think of reminiscent of butter melting on hot toast. So if you want to learn how to achieve 2025's hottest skincare trend, keep watching. When thinking about creating butter skin, the first step that comes to mind is hydrating skin prep and barrier repair. Look for skincare that's rich in peptides, ceramides, hyaluronic acid, those types of ingredients that are going to lend to our keywords for the video: radiance, hydration, plumping, right? For me, the skincare actually starts before serum and moisturizer. I really love using toners, in particular lactic acid toners. They're gently exfoliating and they give off the most beautiful glow. This is the cactus water from Freck. This is a lactic acid toner. It's very gentle, but the thing I love about it is that it is going to exfoliate, remove any dead skin, any dull skin, and it's going to give me that glow that we can build upon to achieve our butter skin. I recently purchased these off of Amazon. They're from the Clean Skin Club. They're just these little cotton pads. I really love these. So I'm just going to take some on the cotton pad and I'm going to run that all over my face. As you can see, I've done my brows already, so I'm just going to work around my brows. This really hydrates the skin and it also preps the skin for your skin prep, if that makes any sense. Highly, highly recommend a lactic acid toner to pretty much everybody. I highly recommend any chemical exfoliant, but in particular lactic acid, especially if you're over the age of 25, if you're in your 30s or your 40s or above. This will give you that cell turnover that you may not be getting. If you think your skin looks lifeless, if it looks dull, try a lactic acid toner and I promise you, you will see a difference. I don't normally use serums during the day. I just try to limit the amount of products I'm layering on my face, particularly if it's hot out. That being said, we are using a serum today because we're trying to achieve butter skin, but also because my moisturizer has an SPF already included in it, so we've eliminated that SPF step. Because I've eliminated that step, I can go in with a serum that will hydrate and give me that glow. This serum is one of my favorites. I have it in my kit. I use it on my brides, on my clients, on myself. It's plumping and it penetrates the skin really quickly, which is what we want. It's the Merit Great Skin Instant Glow Serum. So I'm just going to take 2 pumps in my hands and just work it into my skin. And it has a really beautiful slip to it. And again, it's just going to help us achieve that butter skin. Now that the serum is soaked in, we're going to continue with skin prep. For moisturizer and SPF, I have the La Roche-Posay Double Repair Face Moisturizer. This is an SPF of 30. The thing I love about this is that it has ceramides, it has niacinamide, and it has that La Roche-Posay Prebiotic Thermal Water that they're so famous for. So it's very soothing. The texture of this is really nice. It's a little bit thinner, so it's perfect for summer, but it's really hydrating and it's going to give you that plumped, pillowy skin that we're looking for. I also used quite a bit because I wanted to make sure that we have plenty of sun protection. But as you can see, it rubs into the skin really easily. No white cast. I can't stand that. I know I'm not the fairest maiden in the land, but if you could see white cast on my skin, it drives me insane. I just feel like there's no excuse for it in this day and age. Sunscreen should be universal. Make sure I get the backs of my ears, back of my neck, up the neck, chest. We are hydrated and plump. Since this trend is definitely more of a skin first approach, I wanted to use a hydrating skin tint to give us a little bit of coverage that we could build upon. This one from Pacifica is one of my favorites. It has a satin-like finish. It's radiant, almost creamy. You don't want to use anything mattifying or heavy. We're still thinking about that glow. You want to focus on perfecting the skin, not covering everything up. So I'm going to give it a good shake and take about that much on the back of my hand. I'm grabbing my IT Cosmetics Heavenly Complexion Brush. It's my absolute favorite. I'm gonna take some onto the brush, and then we're just going to buff it lightly into the skin. Not only is it a clean and vegan formula, it just looks so beautiful on the skin, and it's good for all skin types. I actually talked about it in my 5 favorite skin tints for summer, which I will link above. All the skin prep that we've done has created a really beautiful base for this skin tint. We don't want anything heavy. Make sure you work it into the hairline and maybe a little bit on the tops of the ears too, in case your ears are a little bit red. And just take it a little bit down the neck just to blend it. So that's one light layer all over the face. Do you see how it just evened me out but gave me that really beautiful glow? We're almost there, just a few more steps. Next is concealer. I'm taking my absolute favorite. This is the Tower 28 Serum Concealer. I absolutely love this. This is one of my ride or die products. It's my favorite concealer, maybe my favorite concealer of all time. It's great if you have fine lines around your eyes because if you set it, it won't really crease. It resists creasing. It has beautiful coverage. So I'm going to take the IT Cosmetics brush again, but I'm going to take the other side and I'm going to go into the concealer, load up the brush, and then looking into my mirror, I have a mirror off camera that you can't see. It's a big one. I'm going to see where I need coverage, and I'm going to lightly cover those areas. So I have a little bit of discoloration under my eyes, like most people. I'm going to bring it onto the lid, and as you can see, I'm using just buffing circular motions. This buffing technique, the same technique that I used with this side of the brush all over my face, lends a lightness to the skin. Buffing it into the skin gives you almost that airbrushed kind of finish. And then I'm going to take the other side and just tap that out, blend that out, taking a little bit more on the other side, sweeping it underneath, and then bringing it onto my eyelid, all the way up to the brow, using those circular motions. And again, grabbing the other side of the brush to buff everything out. I have a little bit of redness on my nose, so I'm going to take a little bit more concealer. I know what I'm doing right now is pretty basic. I've done stuff like this on my channel before, but it's how we finish the skin that's going to really set it apart. So just keep watching. Now we already have the luminosity to the skin. We're just going to keep building on that. So the first thing I'm going to use is a cream highlighter. This is the Bomb Shine from Violette. I bought this during the Sephora sale. It was not sent to me, but it's so soft, so creamy. It's not glittery. It's not garish. When trying to achieve butter skin and using a highlighter, I highly recommend a cream highlighter, and I recommend a highlighter you can apply with your fingertips so you can warm up the product and then just gently press it into the high points of the face. So first, I don't even know if you can see that on camera, if that can catch the light, but ooh, that's so pretty. And this is my own, so I'm just taking it directly from the product onto my skin, and I am pressing into the skin. So I'm just going to take a little more on my Cupid's bow right here, and then I'm going to hit actually my brow bone, sweep it underneath right there. I'm going to go on top of my brow, hit that high point right there. You might not be able to see this on camera, but it looks so good in person. A little on the chin. And then I'm actually going to take my middle finger and my ring finger. I'm going to run it across the highlighter and really load up the product. And then I'm going to tap it with my other middle finger and ring finger. And then I'm going to press right here on the bottom, like around my jawline. And what this does is it kind of creates that halo of glow around the face. From here, you can do some sculpting and go in with some bronzer, but personally, I think I'm going to skip that because I want this to be a very glowy, blushy look. I want to really lean into that, especially because it's summer. So we're just going to go straight into cream blush. I have Soft Coral from Makeup by Mario here on the back of my hand. I have it depotted for my kit, so I can't show you the component because I don't have it, but I have it here in my kit. I love this color. I saw it today and I thought it would just be perfect for this tutorial. So I scooped a little bit out and I have it on the back of my hand here, and I'm going to do what I always do, which is warm it up on the back of my hand. You can see it's very punchy. We're not going to use all of this. I'm going to take my Real Techniques tapered cheek brush and then work it into the bristles. If you watch my channel before, you know that this is kind of my personal and professional philosophy when applying any kind of product. You want to make sure that the product is evenly distributed in the brush and the brush is loaded up. And you also want to tap off any of the excess because you don't want any excess to go straight onto your face, because then you're going to be fighting against product. Just save yourself the time, save yourself the grief, and do this technique instead, and you have much more control. I'm just going to tap. I'm kind of going to take it all over my cheekbone. I just kind of want to highlight that whole cheekbone right here. And then take it up into the hairline, grabbing a little bit more. Oh, I love this. It's so summery, this look. Oh, I'm obsessed. There's a little bit more blush on this side, and I really like it, so I'm going to add a little bit more on this side. Don't be afraid of the blush. Just lean into it. Going back to my foundation brush that still has a little bit of the skin tint on it, I'm just going to tap around. And what this does is it picks up any excess and it blends everything together. I just got the instinct to put something on my eyes, and I kind of want this to be a monochromatic look. So I'm going to take the same brush, the tapered cheek brush. I'm going to run it through the rest of the product that I have on my hand. And then I'm going to pinch it. And I'm just going to run it along my eyelid. I'm going to curl my lashes and apply mascara off camera. I'll be right back. For my mascara, I'm using the Max Factor False Lash Effect. I purchased this in Germany when I was there last month. I did a haul of everything that I got in Germany, both makeup and skincare. I will link that below and at the end of this video. Since I do want to make this a complete look, I want to put something on my lips, but there really isn't any rules as far as that goes with the butter skin trend. With your lips, you can pretty much do whatever you want. So I'm going to do something that very much harmonizes with what I already have on my face. I have BFF from ColourPop. This is one of my favorite nude lip liners. I have this in my kit as well. And I'm just going to feather this all over my lip line really lightly. Everything is really soft in this makeup look, so I want the lips to be soft as well. I kind of want to give that blurred effect. So I'm going to take my finger over the lip liner, do a little overdraw, and then just take my finger over it. And then going in with one of my favorite nude lipsticks of all time. This is Spanish Pink from Tom Ford. And I'm just going to tap that in. And then just use my finger. Now for me, this is probably where I would stop. I might powder a little under my eyes, but that's it. But that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about the butter skin trend. So I want to show you how to strategically powder in certain places that will give you that velvet kind of texture, but also highlight the places that you want to be highlighted. In order to achieve that, you definitely need a powder puff. You don't necessarily need a triangle powder puff like I have, but this will definitely help you with being strategic about your powder. Now, as far as using loose powder or pressed powder, that's pretty much up to you. I know some will prefer a loose powder because for them, it will set their skin better, especially if they're more on the combination or oily side. I have the Tower 28 pressed powder in Palisades Pink with my powder puff. I'm just going to load it up. And then before that, I'm going to grab my foundation brush and just sweep under my eyes to make sure I don't have any creases. You don't want to set your creases. And then moving back to the powder puff, what I like to do is tap the excess on the back of my hand, really work it into the puff. I'm going to grab my close-up mirror because I really want to be able to see what I'm doing. I'm just going to press right under my eye, down my nose, kind of in a triangle like that. And then on the other side. Now, because this is pink and it is very brightening, I'm going to switch to another powder because I don't want to change the color of my face. I'm going to grab a translucent powder. This is from Dermablend. Any loose translucent powder will do. I'm going to take some in the top right here, run my powder puff through that. Again, tap it off. Trust me, this gives you much more control. And then looking at the face, thinking about where we want shine, where we don't want shine. For me, I don't want shine on my upper lip, on my chin. And then I'm going to turn the puff to go right in between that blush and the highlighter that we have. And then same thing on the other side. And then I'm going to go up the sides of my nose, but I'm going to leave the center of my nose nice and highlighted. Going back into the loose powder just a little bit, and then I'm going to reverse and then press right here in the middle of my forehead, keeping the glow on the perimeter of my face. And there we have our butter skin trend completed. I absolutely love it. Like I said, it's really similar to what I do on my brides. Pretty similar to what I do every day, maybe just a little bit more powder. But now that I see it on my skin, I actually really love it. And I think it's perfect for summer because, as we all know, summer is hot and sometimes powder is your best friend. Have you tried this trend? Would you try this trend now that I've showed you how to do it? It is really easy, I promise. Please let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the notification bell and subscribe for more makeup content from me. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week with a brand new video.